A few days ago, the internet was buzzing with unconfirmed reports. Whispers of strategic bombers sighted over Tallinn, the capital of Estonia. The initial reaction was a mix of confusion and alarm. Was this real? Was it a drill? Or was it something more? In moments like these, sifting through the noise to find the truth is critical. So, let's take a deep breath and break down what might be happening, why it matters, and what it tells us about the fragile peace in Europe. First, let's address the reports themselves. Social media lit up with grainy photos and eyewitness accounts, but official channels were silent at first. This is a classic case where we need to be our own fact-checkers. Is the source reliable? Have major news organizations confirmed the sighting? In the age of information warfare, a convincing fake can spread like wildfire. We have to be cautious and wait for verification from trusted sources like national defense ministries or NATO command. Until then, it remains a powerful rumor, but a rumor nonetheless. However, let's entertain the possibility that it was real. Why would anyone fly strategic bombers over an EU and NATO capital? To understand this, we need to look at similar incidents. Think about Russian jets buzzing NATO ships in the Black Sea, or NATO reconnaissance planes flying near Russian borders in the Baltic. These aren't random acts. They're a form of communication, a type of military signaling. It's a high-stakes conversation conducted not with words, but with billion-dollar machines. Each flight path, each maneuver is a carefully crafted sentence in a larger geopolitical dialogue. These events don't happen in a vacuum. They shape international relations, often creating tension and forcing diplomats to work overtime. So, who could be behind such a maneuver? The potential actors are few. The most obvious candidate in this region would be Russia. But why? The motives could be several. It could be a show of force, a form of deterrence meant to say, we are here and we are powerful. It could also be a signaling exercise, a way to test NATO's response times and air defense capabilities. How quickly would jets be scrambled? How would command and control react? This is invaluable intelligence. And of course, there's the psychological aspect, designed to create unease and question the security guarantees that bind nations together. Could it be NATO? It says highly unlikely that NATO would fly strategic bombers in a provocative way over one of its own member-s capitals without prior announcement. NATO exercises are typically well publicized to avoid misinterpretation and unnecessary panic. Any such flight would be part of a planned drill, like the annual Baltic air policing mission, and the public would be informed. So, if the reports were true, the context points away from a routine Allied operation. Other regional powers lack the strategic bomber capability to perform such a mission, narrowing the list of suspects significantly. This brings us to the heart of the matter, the fragile balance of power in the Baltic region. The Baltic states Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania are on the front line of the strategic competition between NATO and Russia. They are geographically vulnerable and historically conscious of their powerful neighbor. For them, an incident like this isn't just a news headline. It's a direct challenge to their sovereignty and security. It immediately tests the strength of NATO's Article 5, the collective defense clause that says an attack on one member is an attack on all. The solidarity of the alliance is put under a microscope. How would allies like the United States, Germany, and the UK respond? Their reaction, or lack thereof, would send a powerful message across the globe. The ripple effects would extend far beyond Estonia. An event like this could dramatically escalate tensions between the entire European Union and Russia. We're already in a period of strained relations. Sanctions, diplomatic expulsions, and harsh rhetoric are the norm. A military provocation of this magnitude could push things to a breaking point, making dialogue even harder and increasing the risk of miscalculation. It would force EU leaders to confront difficult questions about defense spending, military readiness, and the future of their relationship with Moscow. What are the potential escalation scenarios? A worst-case scenario would be a tragic accident or a nervous air defense operator. A pilot making an aggressive maneuver could lead to a shootdown, and from there, the path to wider conflict is dangerously short. On the other hand, de-escalation pathways also exist. These usually involve quiet, back-channel diplomacy, generals talking to generals on military hotlines, and diplomats meeting behind closed doors to clarify intentions and lower the temperature. The goal is to step back from the brink without losing face. Both sides have an interest in avoiding a full-blown war, but pride and politics can often get in the way. So, What is the true strategic message? If we assume this was a deliberate act, the message is one of intimidation and testing boundaries. It's a reminder that even in the 21st century, hard power matters. It's a probe to see how determined NATO is to defend its eastern flank. For the state sending the bombers, it's a way to project strength and influence beyond its borders, reminding the world of its military might. For the state on the receiving end, it's a stark wake-up call, a reminder that security can never be taken for granted. Looking ahead, what does this mean for stability in the coming months? An incident like this, whether real or a well-crafted rumor, raises the stakes. It will likely lead to increased military patrols from both sides, a larger NATO presence in the Baltics, and more frequent military exercises. The region could become more militarized, with a heightened risk of close encounters between opposing forces. It becomes a self-reinforcing cycle of action and reaction, making the entire security landscape more volatile and unpredictable. Ultimately, this whole situation forces us to reflect on the future of European security. The era of a peace dividend after the Cold War is long over. Great power competition is back, and with it, the return of military posturing and brinksmanship. It underscores the importance of strong alliances, clear communication, and a robust, credible defense. But it also highlights the desperate need for diplomacy and off-ramps to prevent crises from spiraling out of control. We need leaders who are both strong and wise, who understand the language of power, but also possess the courage to pursue peace. What are your thoughts on this? How should NATO and the EU respond to these kinds of provocations? Let me know in the comments below. It's a complex issue with no easy answers, but it's a conversation we need to have. Thanks for watching, and if you found this analysis helpful, please consider liking the video and subscribing for more deep dives into global affairs. Stay safe and stay informed.